Hello friend, this is Ryan Hicks of TalkToProfit.com. Before I get into today's video, I want to ask you if you would like to see more questions answered on a weekly basis. Feel free to put a comment in the comment section below and ask any questions you may have. I may make a separate video about that question or answer you directly in the comments. I do read all the comments, so I will answer them, and I do appreciate the comments and the questions. Today I want to answer a question a viewer had about quantum physics. Specifically, they said, doesn't quantum physics prove that we do not have a free will? And they gave some examples of scientists who speculated certain things meant we were just doing things pre-programmed and we don't really have a choice in our lives. Well, first thing, that's completely untrue. If anything, quantum physics proves that there is an infinite amount of choices. There's no limit to the amount of choices. When you have energy existing in wave and particle form at the same time, there's an infinite amount of possibilities out there. Now, here's the question. Do people live in pre-programmed ways and make what they believe are choices that aren't really choices? Yes, but that has nothing to do with even quantum physics. That just has to do with the subconscious mind and people literally following the script they're pre-programmed with before they're even born, in the womb, and through childhood and early childhood up to about 7 years of age or so. And they're following what that script is. Very few of them ever think. Now, they have mental activities going on, and they have things that they believe are thoughts that come into their mind, and they believe there's decisions being made, but that has nothing to do with them not having free will. They just have not chosen to make any changes to their programming. They have not chosen to go a different route. And even in that sense, that there is a pre-programmed subconscious template almost for how we engage the world, even there you have a choice. You do not have to just go with that almost instinct programming that you have. And it's not really instinct, because instinct generally leads you the right direction, where most people's subconscious programming leads them to more of the same. And yet they don't want more of the same. They want their lives to be better, greater, grander, but they keep falling in line with the programming that has got them the results they currently have. But they expect better results, and yet they're doing the things that can only get them the results they have right now. They'll never get better results doing those same things over and over again. Being around the same people, working at the same job, doing the same level of work at the same job. There's so many variables that go on, and you just change one of those sometimes can bring great results, and they don't change any of them. So that's a choice people make. That's not because they don't have free will. That's not because they're robots. That's not because they're programmed in the sense that they cannot make any changes. They just choose not to. They choose to go with default, the default mode, the default operating system essentially in their being, which is the subconscious programming. That's stuff they didn't even choose. It's from watching uncles and aunts and their mother and father and siblings and friends and family and people in their neighborhood, all these things, and teachers and people in authority, and all that work together to become the programming that they have. And so if you grew up poor, you generally are going to grow up poor. And as an adult, you'll be poor, and you continue on through poverty unless you make changes. And it may take a while, but unless you start making and chipping away at that programming, overriding it with new, good, positive, uplifting programming, you'll continue down that same path. But it's not because you lack free will. It's because you choose not to engage your free will. Now, I know people will say, well, but people don't try to change things because the subconscious programming won't let them. Well, that's not true, because there's plenty of people who have made changes. I've made changes. There's millions and billions of people across the world who have changed some areas of their lives and went against the way they always did something. So that's not true. They just don't choose to make the bigger changes that they need to make. So it's not a matter of lacking free will. It's a matter of lacking will in general. They don't have the willpower to make some of those hard changes, those hard choices that maybe they don't want to make. And some of it, I really believe, is that people really don't want change. Sure, everybody would want to have $100 million in the bank and luxury houses and cars and feed the poor and do all these things. It all sounds great on the surface. Everybody would want that, except they don't want it because of the person they'd have to become to have all those things is not who they want to be. They want to be the person that's sitting around playing video games after work, or watching sports, or reading sports scores, or reading tabloids, or reading magazines that are filled with useless information, or all these trivialities, listening to music that is not uplifting and bettering them. All these vain trivialities that people love to fill their lives up with being constantly entertained. They would rather be that person who is going through that 9-to-5 job and living life to be entertained, and living the life that's basically a duplicate of their parents or guardians or whoever raised them or whoever they looked up to as a child. And that's where they go, and that's the path they go down. But that's a choice. Yes, you can say the subconscious programming is not a choice, and that's certainly true. At some point they made some choices in the matter, even as children, who they looked up to. There were certain influences there they chose to look up to, but overall that was not a choice that they made. But they make the choice to continue each and every day when they get up and they do the same thing. They check their phone, they check their emails, check social media, they do all these things, and they just keep going through the same motions. They've made a choice. Now sure, they may not sit down and write down the choice I'm going to make today and then make a choice to do the same thing I did yesterday. But their actions are evidence of the choice they've made. I would love it if people would spend 5 minutes in the morning when they wake up saying, what am I going to do differently today? How am I going to live today? Because every day is a fresh day. Why are you living the exact same day every day? Why are you doing the exact same things? Change things up. If you wake up and you're immediately checking messages and immediately trying to get that dopamine rush and get all these, oh, well, somebody liked my picture I put up? Did somebody respond to it? And all these things. Why don't you just meditate instead? Think on the good things of God. Think on the glorious majesty of the creation that we live in and the great blessing we have to be alive. You know, someone posted a comment on one of my videos and mentioned about being stuck here, as if existence is a prison. And I know people believe that, oh, we're in a prison planet and all this nonsense. But here's the reality. Life is what you choose it to be. If you choose to look at it like you're in a prison and believe everybody's out to get you and everything's set against you, that's exactly the way it'll be. But if you choose to look at the opportunity and the blessing and the glory of God that's available to you each and every day, if you'll make that choice, you absolutely have free will. The fact that most people choose not to engage it means nothing. You have to be the one to make the choice. You have to be the one to implement a better life for yourself. God's not going to do it for you. No human's going to do it for you. You may have people badger you to try to make you a better person, or they lecture you on why you need to be better and stuff, but no one's going to make you. In the end, you're going to be the one that chooses that. And so, by default, when you choose not to make any changes, when you choose not to become better, and you just live another day very similarly to the way you did the day before and the day before that, and so on, and you're just living life to be mediocre, just living life to be middle class, just living life to be entertained, thinking about the newest movie, the sports team over here, the newest video game, and all these things. Oh, what's going on in social media? Oh, what about politics? And that's all you're focused on? You've made a choice, but the choice has been for you to bow the knee to mediocrity, to give in to your subconscious programming, and to not make a better life for yourself. And you can whine to God about it and blame him. Well, you know, why is God not doing this? Why is God not doing that? You're the one choosing against him, against his blessing, against his abundant life that he wants to give you. But all you have to do is make the choice. Each and every day, get up and freely accept the abundant life that Jesus came to give you. Freely accept that God gives you richly all things to enjoy, and be blessed by that, and operate in that knowledge, Operate in that wisdom. Look for the opportunities that such knowledge presents to you, and you'll start seeing them each and every day. You don't have to make radical changes overnight, because if you do that, people don't make any changes. They only last for a week or so. You see this with people when their New Year's resolutions. They make all these big grand goals they're going to do, and a week or two in, they're already stopped doing them. And a month in, it's something like 85% of people have already given up on those New Year's resolutions. Don't go down that route. Make a small change today. What can you do? Do you normally get up in the morning and immediately check your social media? Stop doing that. Instead, immediately get up and start praying and meditating and thinking about good things of God. As you do that for a little while, what other changes can you make? And don't give up on those changes. Keep with them, and you'll start seeing dramatic improvements in your life. Otherwise, you can go with this mindset that, oh, it's just, there's no free will. I'm just have no control. Then why are you even asking a question like this if you have no free will? You're not going to be able to do anything about it. So why ask a question? Why would you even think? But you know deep down in your heart something's not right with that mindset that, oh, we don't have any free will. Quantum physics proves it. People attach quantum physics proves blah, blah, blah to everything now. And it doesn't prove 85% of the stuff people are claiming it's proving. Most of it's speculation, at best science fiction. But the reality is, if you want to take anything from quantum physics that applies to your daily activities and daily life, it's that you have an infinite amount of opportunities presented before you. You make the choice. You choose the best. You choose God's blessing. You choose the abundant life. You choose to receive freely from God all things richly to enjoy. My friend, I want to encourage you today. Engage your free will and make the choice for blessing, abundance, wealth, riches, honor, freedom, and God's glorious grace. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.